So we're going to look at the volume of a rectangular prism. So our example says find the volume of the following prism. So again, we're dealing with a rectangular prism, so you have different options for defining what your common base is going to be. I'm just going to choose the bottom one. So I'm going to choose this as my common base, and then throughout the prism we have that exact same shape happening, and on the other side we have the same common base. So we are dealing with a prism. And so we want to think about what is our base and what is our other values associated with the prism. In this case, I'm going to use the base is the two-dimensional shape of a rectangle. So I'm just going to pull that off to the side. And we have a length of 3 inches and a width of 2 inches. And then our height throughout is going to be 4.5 inches. So just like surface area, we actually dealt with the same thing, looking at our generalized formulas and finding out what values we actually need for it. We don't actually need perimeter for finding volume. What we actually do need is area of the base. So for a prism, the generalized formula in our reference sheet is that volume is the area of the base multiplied by the height of the prism for any shape that is a prism. So off to the side we can do our area formula just as we have done before. So here's our base. It is a rectangle, so area of a rectangle is length times width. So in this case 3 times 2 gives us 6 inches squared. So we did an inch by an inch, so that means we can take this, plug it into our volume formula. So 6 is our area of our base, and then we're going to multiply that out of our height of our three-dimensional prism, which is 4.5. And so when we do that multiplication, 6 times 4.5 gives us 27. And we want to always be thinking about our units. So remember, volume is a cubic unit. So I actually took inches squared here, and I multiplied by another inch. So we're in sort of the cubic realm of inches cubed, or we can write it as CU inches if you prefer. Either way, we're dealing in sort of that three-dimensional environment now. So that's where we use a generalized formula, but often you're going to see this formula written a little bit differently. That area is your length and your width, and so that's where you really get your length times your width times your height. So you might be a little bit more comfortable with that formula, and if you go to your and you scroll down to your rectangular prism formulas, you can see that it's given as an alternate version there. So if you're more comfortable using length times width times height, feel free to use that alternate version. So you have the generalized formula and then the one that's really related to working with rectangular prisms. If you go back to our notes, it's just talking about a little bit down here. We already mentioned it, but remember that volume is in cubic units for a three-dimensional shape. And if the dimensions are given in inches, then the volume is going to be calculated in cubic inches. And you might see this written as what we did above, inches with a little 3 on it to show cubed, or CU for cubed, IN. And that doesn't matter whether it's inches, it could be cubic feet. And then you might have feet with a little cube on it, or you can use CU FT. Often when you're dealing with meters, cubic meters, then you just put the meters with the cube on it.